Well, first of all, good afternoon, everybody. I'm Kartik Varma. In December 2014, I cycled from Manipal, which is in Karnataka, to New Delhi. This was a distance of about 2,300 kilometers. I cycled alone, and it took me about 29 days to reach. So before I begin, I would like to thank Aditi, Abhishek, wherever you are, and the rest of the TEDx team for inviting me here. And of course, a big thank you to TEETDM Jabalpur. And I'd like to begin with the video, please.
कहाँ से आए हो?
कहाँ से चलते हो?
कितनी तेज भागती है?
रेस कितना है इसका?
कितने घंटे में पहुँच जाते हो? इस पे है?
Be on the highway, we must do two things. First of all, we must be situated in shape. Secondly, we must have music playing. We can also make patterns.
Thank you. So while the physical aspects of the journey were obviously challenging, it were the mental aspects of the journey that were more rewarding, and that is what I would like to talk about today. How many of you here, a show of hands please, would like to own and live in a house like that? Yeah, that's practically everybody. Okay. How many of you would like to have transport like that? Great, not so many as the house, but still. Okay, so in our society, we consider money and luxury to be symbols of success. So the more money we have, the more successful we think we are. Now comes a very important question that why do we want to be successful? So we want to be successful because it gives us a feeling of achievement. It puts us high in the social hierarchy. And this in turn leads to happiness. So the more successful you are, the more happy you will be. Now comes a little bit of PhD level, highly technical mathematics. But if you bear with me, I'm sure you'll understand. So we believe that the more money we have, the happier we will be. And this is what I would like to talk about. I thought exactly the same before I cycled. But during the trip, I had a number of experiences which made me realize that this is not the case. Enter Arun Gaude. Arun Gaude is a sugarcane farmer in Shirpur, Maharashtra. I met him while I was looking for a lodge. Before I go any further, I must give you a bit of a background. So this is what I look like. I mean, I don't mean to boast, but I do have pretty nice legs. And with respect to the surroundings, this is what I look like, but with nice legs. So wherever I went, people would stop me and they'd ask me a whole bunch of questions. The questions would be very first date sort of questions like, what do you do, where are you coming from, where do you go? And I'll just show you a clip of what the questions were like.
कहाँ से आए हो?
कहाँ से चलते हो?
कितनी तेज भागती है?
रेस कितना है इसका?
कितने घंटे में पहुंच जाते हो? इस पे है?
So at first, this curiosity felt great. You know, people would ask me, where are you coming from, where are you going? And I would answer all of the questions with abundant enthusiasm and zeal. But this lasted only for the first 2 days because after that I realized that if I don't make it to Delhi in a month, it's not going to be because I can't cycle fast, but it's going to be because I spent all the time answering all of those questions. So I did what I do best. I'm a doctorate holder in sarcasm and bullshitting. I weaved stories. One of my favorite stories was telling people that I'm cycling to my marriage. I would tell them that my fiancé has challenged me to cycle from Manipal to Delhi, and if I can complete it, I will not have to pay any alimony in the event I get divorced. So people love these stories. And this would bring out the inner romantic hidden in every stern-faced uncle. So the more serious an uncle looks, the more romantic he is. This is what I discovered when I was cycling. So people would ask me, why you sure that you'd get divorced? I tell them this isn't about being sure that I'll get divorced. It's more of doing something in the name of love. If my wife had asked me to walk around the earth, I probably would have. Thankfully, she's only asked me to cycle. So this would make them very happy. And when an uncle and any Indian meets an engineer, because you know engineers have a lot of prestige in society, and even though at home I'm made to do the dishes, on the road I can enjoy the privileges of being high up in the social hierarchy. So when uncles meet an engineer who's doing a respectable thing for one of the most honorable human emotions of love, they instantly connect with you. And when they connect with you, they buy you things. Because it's their way of showing that, okay, you know, you're on the right path. You're in others' balak. So, yeah, these guys were kind enough to buy me tea. In other instances, I met people who gifted me a box of sweets, who bought me lunch, who bought me a huge variety of things because I was cycling to my marriage. This brings us back to Arun Gaude. So I met Arun Gaude and he was very innocent. So I mean, of course, I told him the truth. that I'm a documentary filmmaker from South Africa. So when I met him, I was looking for a lodge, and he told me that he owns a sugarcane farm. And I'm very curious about the local economy because I want to figure out how India really works. What does it mean that you own a sugarcane farm? We can't fathom by reading a few statistics in a book, so I wanted to find out. And I told him that, okay, I'm going to get a lodge soon, and then I'm going to go visit your farm. So I took his number. And once I reached the lodge owner demanded 500 rupees for one night. And I had a strict budget of 300 rupees, which I didn't want to go over. So I called up Arun Gowde and I explained the situation to him that, Gowdeji, I can't do this because he's charging too much money. And I was hoping that he'd pull some strings of kinship because they live in the same small village, and he'd get me the lodge for 300 rupees. So he says, "Wahin pe ruko, main 10 minute mein aa raha hu." So he comes in 10 minutes on his motorcycle and I meet him. And he says, "Tu kahin pe bhi so jayega?" So then I point to my sleeping bag and mat. That's the sleeping mat in the front. I said, हाँ मैं कहीं पे भी सो जाऊंगा. He said, मैं तेरे को घर तो ले जाऊंगा, पर तेरे को पैंट पूरी पहननी पड़ेगी. So on the highway, I put on pants and say, okay, let's go. So I go to his house and I meet a bunch of amazing people, including this cute kid. When I'm there, the Indian tradition of telling people, what are you going to drink? Do you want to have tea? Do you want to have cold drinks? So I made the mistake of telling him that I want milk. दूध चाहिए? चलो जल्दी मेरे साथ. So he was so excited. I was like, okay, let's go. And this is where I found myself. So, it was a great experience. And what I found out about the farm was that Arun Gowde makes about 2 to 3 lakh rupees from that farm. He has a family of 12. So what that means is that there's about 2,000 rupees per month per person. And this is taking the upper limit of 3 lakhs. When I went there, I ate whatever they ate. I did all of the activities they do, including drinking the fresh milk. I ritualized whatever they ritualize, and I lived how they lived. 2,000 rupees a month is not a lot of money. And since they don't farm their own food, it's very difficult to survive on 2,000 rupees. But they were doing it. In other instances, I met people. I met a small tea shop owner who lived and sold tea on the highway and had 5 people in his family who refused to accept money for tea. I met businessmen who make 2 lakh rupees a month. I met truck drivers who might make 20,000 rupees a month. I met daily wage laborers who in certain parts of rural India make only rupees 400 a month. What was common was that they were all happy. So in that one evening, I had an epiphany that it's not money that you need to be happy. And that, of course, makes us ask the question, if it's not money that'll make you happy, what will make you happy? Now, the answer is different for everybody in this room. I know for a fact that there's a budding magician in one of you, an aspiring artist in the other, a closet poet, and a really talented bathroom singer. But what happens is, we tell ourselves that this is not the time, that it's impractical, that there are no monetary rewards, that it's too late to learn. So we give ourselves this whole host of rationalizations because we're so scared of actually doing what actually makes us happy, that we don't do it. And as the outside remains the same, since we don't give ourselves to new situations, so does the inside. We never explore, and thus we don't get a chance to see ourselves in a different light. Unfortunately, what this means is that a large part of us remains a stranger to ourselves. We trade inward discovery for this outward stability. We will not do anything that interests us or makes us happy because it isn't safe or secure. So what we need to do is we need to look out and follow these dreams and passions and aspirations, because they will lead to inward discovery. And as the outside changes, as we try new things, the inside changes. We reveal ourselves to ourselves, and it is these revelations which will light the path to self-discovery and what truly makes us happy. Now you may say that I'm not sure I can be successful with what I like doing. So what I have to tell you is that success isn't linear. Success is not something that can be broken down into components and you can use a reductionist algorithm and figure out, okay, this leads to this. No, that's not how it works. Success is incredibly complex. When I was cycling and I was in Rajasthan, my relatives organized a press conference for me. When I applied to colleges for behavioral economics, while people talk about social diversity, I have experienced it. Cycling has given me a chance to stand here. And when I was cycling, I didn't tell people, I'm cycling to give a TEDx talk. So the thing is that success is not linear, and you can't quantify it. The cycling expedition has given me access to resources which aren't even related to cycling in the slightest. So now comes the question that if you don't know what makes you happy, what to do? Okay, you're willing to try it out, but hey, you don't know what makes you happy. So this is what you have to do. You must introspect. If you don't know what makes you happy, aggressively chase it. Journal, meditate, travel alone. Try whatever you think may actually pique your curiosity. If it doesn't work out, great. You've found one less way to fail. And that's amazing. You can move on. So, we must always find out what to do. And as we try out different things, we will find our road to true happiness. To sum up, money is not what's going to make you happy. What's going to make you happy is only something that you guys can figure out. If you guys don't know what's going to make you happy, then you must aggressively chase it. And you must never go complacent. And once you find out what makes you happy, and you think it won't make you successful, remember that success is not linear. It will not work the way you think it will. The rewards of following our heart are always unpredictable and always beautiful. And with that, I conclude my talk. Thank you.